Hi everyone, Jacqueline here. So today we are gonna prune the hydrangeas. It is end of October, last week of October. It is Halloween this week, so boo ha 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 ha. But it's that time of year, so now we got to get these hydrangeas pruned down. So I'm in Saskatchewan, Canada, zone 3B, and we get cold temperatures like down to minus 40. That's, getting near the extremes. Add a wind on it, can be into the minus 50s, and heavy snow usually. Sometimes in the area where my hydrangeas are, you can have snow just because the way it blows in up to 6 feet tall. And that is heavy on them. But it also serves another purpose, which is it insulates them from the wind. So the snow is not a bad thing, although in the spring it takes a long time to melt, especially in areas where the sun does not hit it. So we're going to show you the difference between hydrangeas that have been damaged by the fence and hydrangeas that were not damaged by the fence. And in order to show these differences, I am comparing apples to apples, which is the Annabelles, because you can see a huge difference in what's been damaged and what hasn't. And then we're going to go in and take these Annabelles. I'm going to start with these and we're going to prune them. Now, Annabelle hydrangeas are supposed to bloom on new wood, and they do. But they also bloom on old wood. So when I look around and just doing a drive around Regina, I was in town doing some errands and that, I noticed that people are taking them down to about 2 feet, 3 feet high. Those that are using them as hedges and that have had them in their gardens for a long, long time. And that's a practice I see in these different areas do every year. And their hydrangeas are stunning and come back beautifully. So we're going to take these down short too, and some of the branches here in this bed already are at that height, but we're going to trim them up and make them a little cleaner. This year I am leaving all my leaves in the flower beds for the winter to provide insulation to all the perennials and plants, and then I'll clean up in the spring because leaf mulch is perfect for enriching the soil in your gardens. So around the hydrangeas, it doesn't hurt a thing. Now some people think it hides bad insects, but it also protects beneficial insects. So we're going to leave them this year, and then I'll clean up in the spring, and we'll see how this goes. So let's have a look here at the Annabelle hydrangeas. And before we do that, I just want to make a note here. Sorry there was no video on the weekend. I had family here from Alberta staying with us, and I tell you, it was Ryderville here and it was Blue Jayville here. So it was a busy place with games and family and all sorts of stuff going on. So I didn't shoot a video, so I apologize for that. You will find though, when life happens, I'm going to prioritize, of course, my family first. So I haven't forgotten about you or anything. Definitely not. But I just want to mention that you'll see that from time to time, and I didn't get a chance to post because we were busy and doing stuff. So anyhow, let's not delay any further and let's get at this video. So here is an Annabelle hydrangea. It's been protected by the house. It's a foundation planting, and you can see it is very upright. It is ball shaped, a really nice shape, and there's no damage to it. You can see down below where I have pruned it in the past, and I'm going to leave that for the winter now, but I'm going to take and cut the rest of it down to about 2 feet, a bit higher than what those branches are at. So that's what it looks like when they aren't disturbed and damaged by weather or animals or fence falling on it. So that's an ideal plant that looks beautiful in the fall. Even the flowers that are brown now are still beautiful. Very nice statement plant, and I want more in here. And I'll talk about that after we do the work we need to get done, what I've done in this bed and what I've added. This is a really good example of a damaged hydrangea because the fence fell on these here and they were lanky all season. So it's going to take a couple of seasons for these to come back. And you can see, just looking at them, we've had to put some stakes in there, and Rob went in and just put some wood stakes in there to kind of hold them up and brace them from the weight of the hydrangea blooms. And that's what people mean by hydrangeas that flop, is this kind of situation. But when they get damaged, this is what's going to happen. So you have some solutions you can do with this. Number one, of course, leave them for the season, stake them up to the best of your ability, and then cut them back hard and leave some of the old wood to keep the weight off the branches from the snow. Or don't cut them back at all. What that does is all that snow is going to land on these beautiful heads, and it's going to snap the branches anyhow. So even though they provide winter interest, I don't recommend that. And third, you can just cut the heads right off and take it down a foot and leave the branches for next year. My plan here is to probably take it down to about 3 feet and take that weight off, leave the old branches in place, and then we'll see how it does next year when it starts growing. And if we need to stake it, what I'm going to do is, instead of staking it, I'm going to put a stake at the back of the fence here and then run rope or string that won't damage the plant across and hook it to the fence. So this prevents this from happening. So that's another method you can do for staking. I think that's one of the best methods because it keeps them upright, gives them some support, rather than doing, sticking in the odd stake here and there and trying to hold them up, which is not effective. I mean, if you look at this, that is not effective. You can see the stake right there. So we're not going to do that again, but it was a quick measure because they're flopping over so Rob couldn't even mow. That's how, and they flopped over really hard after a heavy rain, which hydrangeas are notorious for, particularly Annabelles. Now the new Incredibles aren't so bad for this, but I will tell you, they will still do it. So heavy rains are heavy rains, heavy snows. I mean, plants can only take so much, but they do withstand it much better, and they are the newer versions of the Annabelles. All right, enough chit chat. Let's get at it. And first, I'm going to hand prune the one right in front of us as an example, and then I'm going to use the hedge trimmers on the one beside, and we'll compare the cuts. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this stake out. Those we can reuse for the boulevard to mark off where the plow is. So I'm going to start with just taking these down. Well, I'm going to take them down to about there. So that's probably just above my knee, 3-4 feet. And isn't that beautiful? Look at that head. That's absolutely perfect other than the leaves. And you can see you can't preserve that. It's already too dried out. It's going to fall apart. You got to get them before they're at this point, but they're still beautiful. So we'll take these all down to that level, and I'm going to do a cut comparison. And we'll just go through these fairly quick. So easy. And that's all we need to do. Let's have a look at the cuts. All right, those are nice, clean cuts. One thing you can do with your hydrangeas at this point, and I know I've done other videos on this, but each year I try to refine what I do and how I treat them, is you can go through and take some of the inner stems out. You can do it now in the fall, or you can do it in the spring. I am leaving it to the spring. What that's going to do is, by not cleaning out the center of this plant like it is, that's going to keep the snow from flopping it. When you prune these, you want to prune them at a node. You can do that in the fall, or you can do that in the spring, your choice. If you want to leave some of these branches and let them bloom on some of the old wood too, to give them, the new branches, some support. So you have options there. And that's how quick you can go through it. So easy. The ground's actually really soft there. I'm surprised. Look at how beautiful these are. I mean, that one's turning brown, but look at the size of that. This one in particular is huge. I can't even do it justice. It is so big and beautiful. Look at that. That is how big it is with my hand on it. Oh, look at those stunning fall colors. And then that's what they look like. And that was closer to the fence, so it was a little more protected from the elements. So that's why you'll see some that are still a lime green, and then you'll see some that went completely brown because these have been sheltered. All right, let's give this baby a nice haircut so that it can make it through the winter, because these are my all-time favorites. If you were having a fall wedding and you were a person like me, a redhead, who liked your browns and stuff, look at that. Oh, so beautiful and glorious. There's one that's still got some green on it, but look at that. You can't compete with that kind of beauty in the fall. So that was an Annabelle. Now we're going to get into a combination of Annabelles and limelights. Here is a limelight. Nice shape. Definitely a good time to cut it down and then paint the fence when you've got it all shaped. But a little hit more of a pink to the brown if you look at the Annabelle beside it, which I believe that's an Incrediball, not an Annabelle. It's a little more upright. You can see the Annabelle's much darker in the dark brown and the limelight's a bit lighter in the garden. So you're getting contrasting colors for your fall, but definitely shades of browns and mocha. I call it mocha. All right, let's take these, give these babies a haircut. Both of them. I'm going to stand this back so you can see. While I am down at this end, or this corner of the garden, I'm going to come through and I'm going to prune the barberries and the potentillas. And then I don't have to do it in the spring. And I see there's some thistles in there, so I'm going to clean them out while I'm at it. What I've seen done is professional landscapers will come in that look after the properties of a business, and they will shape these into mounds. And they are beautiful when they're done like that. And they maintain them all season. In fact, I've seen them do lemon dart of the 9 bark, some of the smaller 9 barks, and kept them shaped small all year round. And they are stunning. They're really, color really comes out. And I took a picture. If I can find it, I will post it here. But I just want to get this done while I'm in this corner. And finally, I planted 2 strawberry sundaes under my bedroom windows in my front garden. And my goal is to plant hydrangeas all along the edge here. I'm going to take all the perennials out, move them in the spring, and then add a bunch of conifers and stuff in here and make it more of a topiary garden. Now, strawberry sundaes are hardy zones 3 to 8. They only get about 3 feet high. They're going to have that beautiful kind of limelight color. A deeper magenta, red, pink comes on these, but they aren't going to get very tall. So this is what they look like when they're newly planted. I did not cut it back at all. And now I'm going to give it the trim so that it will have a good start in the spring. So I'll show you how I'm going to trim these down. Not really any different than the other ones, other than I'm going shorter and trying to give it a little bit of a shape in here, because there are gnarly branches in this. So you can see here kind of how I'm cleaning that up. Real simple. It doesn't look like much when it's cut back, but it should be beautiful in the spring. And this is new to me, so we'll see how these do in my garden over the winter in the really cold climate. And I got these on 50% off, so I think they're like $15. So that was a good buy. I just hope they, don't go any higher than about 4 feet. All right, that is it for this video. We got a lot done, but there's more to do. So all the videos you're probably going to see off and on will be fall cleanup, and some things I leave and I don't clean, some things I do. Anything you get done now, you don't have to do in the spring. So you can kind of weigh out what works for you in your area and how much work you want to do in the fall in your garden. Like I said, I'm leaving all the leaves and stuff, but I think I'll cut the perennials back. I will leave maybe the odd coneflower up for the birds to have the seeds, but I do feed my birds. I don't know if that's dirt on my monitor, not on my face. Good. But there is lots, because I live out in the country, there is lots of seeds and berries and stuff that stay on the trees that they can have over the winter. So it's not that big of a deal if I do cut them back, but it's winter interest as well. So we'll see what I do there. I might take most and then leave 3 or 4 plants here and there, or just leave them around the hydrangea room so I can enjoy watching the birds eat the seeds in the winter, providing the snow isn't so high that you can't find the seeds. And that's where it gets iffy for the birds, is if the snow gets too high, then they can't access the seeds. So we'll see how it goes. Might be an intervention there to remove some of the snow for them. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's starting to cool off now. We're expecting snow. I'm thinking Sunday, potential flurries. Water's off already in the front. Sprinklers have all been drained. Still got work to do in the back. And more videos. See you in the next one, everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and leave some comments. How do you handle your hydrangeas and your shrubs in the fall? What do you do? Let me know in the comments. I love to hear from you, and what part of the country you live in. That would be great. Bye, everybody. Take care.